What was elementary school and high school like for somebody who had learning disabilities? So, if you all know me, I was born with fetal alcohol syndrome, ADHD, and developmental global delay in the learning spectrum. I also have a major depressive disorder. So, what was elementary school like for me? Well, I got bullied a lot in grade 1. I was sexually harassed by one of my classmates. I was bullied a lot because I couldn't learn like the other students. Billy, behave. What? I'm trying to do it with you. I told my teacher, the grade 1 teacher was very sick. 1 second. So we always had like a substitute teacher. Grade 2, it was the same teacher I had in kindergarten. And then grade 3, I got transferred schools to go into a program. It's called the DC program for people who have disabilities. So I transferred schools in grade 3, and the school board offered to pay for my education, but my parents declined that. So I got put in a specialized classroom that has around like 10 students, 1 teacher, and 1 educational assistant, which was called an EA, which was kind of like a second teacher that would help students. Grade 3, I also did medieval times, like Middle Age history and stuff. And I had a best friend that I went to high school with that I knew since grade 3 up to grade 12. She was my best friend. Grade 4. So grade 3 was Miss Eggeter. She got pregnant. Grade 4 with Miss Jenkinson's. Grade 5, Miss Scott, and she retired. She moved my desk because I was smiling at a kid. She literally isolated me from the rest of the class. So grade 6, a new teacher came in that was named Miss Wilson. She was Ukrainian. She got married, and then her name was Mrs. Shevchenko. But I was isolated in grade 5, so I got very like shy because of that. So I was pretty young in grade 5. Grade 8, Mr. Vert. And then I graduated. And I went to high school into a specialized program for kids with disabilities also, which is called the Forest City program. I remember the first day of high school I ended up crying because that transition is it's a lot. It's very stressful. I was like going like 15, 16. I went to daily living, which teaches you life skills and how to live. We did numeracy, literacy. We did some geography. We went on outings and we did cooking together as a class. There was only like 10 to 12 students there also. 1 educational assistant. Actually, in elementary school we had 2 educational assistants. I forgot about that. What else? So there was daily living, arts and design, technology for life, commercial foods, life skills, work experience, which was co-op and stuff like that. So each classroom had like different types of learning things, and we would always switch classes. Every like 13 weeks would be a new cycle. So we'd be in the same group of classmates, but we'd change classrooms. And of course we'd have like some classrooms that were located at different schools, so I would never stay in the same school until grade 13, which I had my employment classroom. That was, I could have the teachers for a full year, which was nice. that was at a completely different school than what the program was located at. I really liked commercial foods because I got to work with a pastry chef that was originally from Toronto and got offered a job in the school board to teach. And I got to learn how to cook and bake from him. But also in my free time, I volunteered in the cafeterias also at my normal school. And at other schools, I would help the cafeteria ladies out. And they really liked me. What else was there? Work experience I started at in retail because my teachers didn't really know what I wanted because I never really spoke or talked to them because I was really closed off still. But so I started out in retail at Hudson's Bay. I was a clerk and sale person, stock person, whatever you call it. And I would put away merchandise, help customers. There's a cool trick. If you have, this is a tip. If you have like steel clothing bars and you want the hangers to slide more smoothly, Ben. The tip is to get waxed paper and rub it on your steel bars and your clothing will slide more smoothly without the hangers making that, the sound, that the squeaky sound that they made. My mentor was from Croatia in Europe and she taught me that. And I also learned that in European, some words translate to French, so I kind of knew what she was talking about because in elementary school we had to take like 3 years of French, which was mandatory, and Madame Frickle-Hicks. I also did woodworking in high school also, because in Canada it's pretty mandatory that you learn French, but I'm not like, I don't use French like ever since I got out of elementary school, but every single morning she went maintenant to the en français Canada introduit, which is right now we're all going to speak in French. What day is it today? And we would sing songs in French and stuff like that. Bailey, behave. No, it's just the neighbors. We took songs in French class. I liked French, but I don't know everything in French. Like for like 3 years, I know somewhat. I don't even know how to write in French. But we did projects and stuff like that. I got a French award for the best French-speaking student. I took VIP, which is when a police officer comes and talks to you. I got to meet a police dog named Bosco. It's a German Shepherd that was all the way from Germany, which is cool. Bailey, that's enough. But it was a lot. I really liked school. Even when I got my wisdom teeth out and I got put on anesthesia, that's all I talked about was school. Because it was better than being at home. My second work experience was at American Eagle, which was also like the same thing. But I had to go through a maze by myself behind the mall. Bailey's getting restless. Behind the mall, I gave you biscuit. Behind the mall, this is my Bailey. Take the garbage, clean the fitting rooms, clean where the mannequins were. I scared somebody on my last day working there because they thought I was a mannequin because I stay still. So this is my Bailey. My Bailey Pooh. She's a Yorkie. Then grade 13, I finally got put in a restaurant. So I also got to learn how to sew on a sewing machine. So there was a lot. So my whole life was really learning how to be an adult. Right, Bailey? So I never really got to be a kid. But I'm also grateful that I got to learn these skills in school. I don't really talk about school because I used to want to be in a normal classroom. And whenever I couldn't understand things, I'd get very upset at myself. And I used to blame myself. I felt really stupid. That I was different and I had to be put in special education. So I thought it was my fault that I was this way, having special needs and challenges. But I'm also grateful at the same time because I could have had it a lot worse. When I was born, my brain mentality was like if someone had a stroke. So when I was a toddler, I had to go to occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and speech therapy. So I would be able to talk like this today. Like, I have a mild case of disabilities. There's people that don't have very little, and they can still go to university, go to college, have high up jobs. People with mild disabilities, they can still do that, but they struggle. And people with extreme disabilities, it's very hard for them. But yeah, I'm very grateful that my case was only mild. But learning, I'm a visual learner, so if you tell me to do something, I won't really understand unless you show me how to do it a few times. I'm getting the hang of it. I'm picking up stuff pretty fast. That's why I like music, because it's visual. I can see and I can pick up on it, and it's something that I really love doing. Bailey, hi. Bailey's getting restless. I gave you a biscuit. But yeah, school was really different for me. I don't really talk about it because, was I supposed to be in the academic program and not be able to learn anything? But I would pray for a day that I could be in a normal classroom and actually learn the material instead of learning grade 3 work and stuff like that. Yeah, I had to use a matrix chart to do times because I'm not the best at math. This is my Bailey. And she's cute. She's my precious. I gave her a bath yesterday. The sad thing is, somebody in our neighborhood is putting drugs in the grass and stuff, and 2 weeks ago, one of our neighbor's dogs picked up heroin, and she was sleeping a lot. She wasn't waking up, so they took her to the vet. It was a lot of money, and I found out that the heroin caused problems with her blood, so now she's diabetic. But if it was one of our dogs, because they're small, they wouldn't have made it. But she's a pretty big black Labrador. Her name's Zoe, and she also has a brother named Reese. He's a really pretty brown gray color. I love Reese and Zoe. They're very nice dogs. Our dogs recently, a few years ago, got poisoned by opioids, and Bailey was really bad. We took her to a clinic. They gave her some medication and Ben some medication, but she was projectile bleeding out of her bum, which was horrible. She wasn't eating, but she lived through that, so we're really grateful for that. Yeah, but somebody in our neighborhood, Sally, is drugging dogs, and it's really heartbreaking because, people can be really cruel to our animals. We don't really know who it is yet, sadly. And a few doors down, another dog that was small had the same problem our dogs had. So it's pretty scary in your neighborhood when dogs are smelling stuff and getting sick, and then you spend thousands of dollars to make sure that they're better, and sometimes they don't make it through. So it's really scary what people do, and I can't imagine the fact if we lost our dogs to that. And I'm really praying that Zoe will be okay with getting insulin now, sadly. I'm glad that she survived that. Took her 2 weeks to recover. Which was great. But we don't really know who's putting the drugs in the grass. We don't really know. We just have to be careful walking our dogs, and if they're sniffing obsessively, we have to put them away right away. But I was scared that Bailey was gonna have to stay at the vet the first time because she had it really badly. But she's okay now. I remember having to clean up her cage, and it smelled like death. the blood. It was horrible experience. And it's heartbreaking because you don't want that to happen to your animals. People throw stuff over the fence, put things in food, and the dogs get very sick. People are just cruel to animals, and animals are just so innocent, and they don't do anything. But they're like children, furry companions. I love my Bailey. I love my Ben too. I wouldn't want anybody to hurt a pet, but they do. That's what I was saying. And I said, I wish that there was a canine unit that came out and searched the neighborhood and tracked where the heroin and opioids were and got that person out of the neighborhood. But that would be a lot of work and next to impossible. Because, you know, like, our animals need to know that they're safe. But anywhere they can pick up anything. So, and they're like children. They want to pick up stuff. Because they don't know. They're so fascinated with everything. But other than that, that's what's been happening now. And we have to be extremely careful with our dogs. Because they're small. And they may not survive getting these type of drugs in their system. So we just have to be careful every single day. It's pretty scary. But that's what's going on now. So, and I kind of think I know who it is, but I can't assume unless I have proof of it, you know. But, like, I feel like somebody in the neighborhood has a motive to poison their dogs because somebody complained to the neighbor about not picking up his dog feces, and the dude cursed the one guy out that was walking his other dog, complaining about that. So, and it's not the first time he cursed out people. He's not a very nice man. So, I can see him doing that, but I don't want to say names because I don't know who. So, our dogs plus Coco plus Zoe, that is 4 dogs so far that's been poisoned in our neighborhood. Who's going to be the next dog? We have to do something.